Hi everybody, Jennifer Blevin-Smith with Integral Clinic Solutions, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Navigating the Business of Medicine. Today I want to talk about questions to ask a credentialing specialist. These are going to be questions that you would want to ask anyone that you are looking to hire to fulfill the credentialing tasks that you would need to do if you plan on billing insurance companies for services rendered in your practice. Some of these seem pretty basic and common sense because they're questions that you should be asking not just for credentialing specialists, but pretty much anytime you're going to be hiring out or having a third party provide services to you in an area of your business. But there's some other things that I really want you to think about asking and also build your own questions based off of my questions. Another technique to use is asking more in-depth questions based on the answers of these high-level questions and kind of getting down to the root of certain things, and also to explore the knowledge base and confidence in people in services that they're offering to you. Of course, you're going to have the first basic question of how long have you been doing this, what's your education and your background in this, and of course, I am not one to think that everybody needs to have a piece of paper proving that they're capable of doing a particular job, because I believe experience often trumps education. Because I feel like people can get an education on the job by actually doing it rather than just learning about it and being told about it. Obviously, that's different for different roles, but when it comes to credentialing specialty and specialists and stuff like that, I didn't go to school to become certified. I learned as I went, and that's how I have my knowledge base. So I wouldn't discredit anybody that's not, quote, certified in credentialing, but I would definitely dig deep and really get a firm understanding of where their understanding of the process comes from. So you'll want to ask, like I said, how long they've been doing it, what's their education or experience and their background. I would also ask about charges up front, because sometimes it can be expensive. The reason why credentialing is expensive is it's very time consuming. Like I've talked about in other videos, it's not difficult, it's just very time consuming. There's a lot of moving parts. And so because time is money, that's where the cost comes from. So don't be surprised if it's a little bit larger than you expect, but it is because it is very time consuming. I would also ask them if they're familiar with the payers in your area, in your specific state, because sometimes there are nuances, or oftentimes payers have nuances. And if someone is aware of those and can kind of navigate around those or know how to deal with them and anticipate maybe some challenges up front, that's a huge benefit. I would also ask them what documents they would need from you up front before they start. So you want to see somebody who is organized, you want to see someone who knows what they're talking about. If they can speak intelligently and in depth and detail about your payers, about the process, then you're probably doing pretty well at finding somebody that is competent in their understanding of the process. Now, whether they're capable of executing it, it's a whole nother thing, and that's a little bit harder to judge and question. After asking them about the documents and the information they're going to need from you, ask them what challenges they may see or that you should expect from doing credentialing, especially if this is your first time. Let's see if they're going to be honest with you, if they're going to be upfront, see if they're going to kind of give you the good, the bad, and the ugly of credentialing, kind of like I have in my other videos, because some payers do take longer than others. Some of them you get the runaround and you have to babysit. Others go really quick. And so you're hoping that they can be honest with you, but that they're not going to use it as an excuse for them not doing their job. So you have to be really careful in that. The thing I would do when you're interviewing someone for credentialing is give them a list of all the payers that you intend to become credentialed with immediately, that you want them to start working on, because they should be able to look at that list based off of what you're asking from them and give you kind of an idea of how long each payer takes and what challenges each payer may have, and maybe some special information some payers might require and others don't. So that could really help you get an idea and feel somebody out. Another question I would ask is, how often do they work on your specific applications and your specific tasks dedicated to your account? So you would also want to ask how many other accounts they're working on. You don't want to get somebody who is so thin and stretched so tight that they're not able to give the full attention that your stuff will need, because like I said, you need someone who's organized, detail-oriented, and also someone who is on like a planned schedule and can make sure they follow up on things appropriately. You also want to make sure that you let them know how often you want to be communicated with and kept up to date. Ask them the best ways to communicate with them, whether it's through text message, email, and how soon you should expect to hear back from them as a response. You want someone who's very good with communication, that's very open, and that is going to jump on top of issues right away and not use it as an excuse of why things keep getting dragged out. I would also make sure that they know that you have a firm end date if you don't intend on using them long term to help with re-credentialing or down the line with new payers. And I would just let them know that you expect to have so many payers done within so much time, and so that they kind of understand that you understand this is a process, you know it takes time, but within 4, 5, 6 months, you expect all of your payers that you're asking for to be contracted, credentialed, and ready to go for you. So make sure you give them some standards to follow, some guidelines, some expectations, because if you're upfront with them about that, then they can't say that they didn't know. And a lot of times people will respect that and want to honor that if they're sincere in the services they offer. So again, go through my questions, get the answers, ask further questions based off of their answers, and create your own questions on things that you might have further interest in or want to pick their brain about. It's okay, but I wouldn't just hire someone just because you're desperate. I would definitely make sure that you find someone who is capable, because again, the faster you become credentialed, the faster and sooner you can start billing insurances and get paid as in-network instead of out-of-network. If you have any experience with looking for and hiring your own credentialing specialist, and you have some tips you'd like to share with your colleagues, please leave that in the comments below. Smash the thumbs up button if today's video was helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks so much, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.